Top five, top five, top five.
So then Talk back with another video. I'm Strange Wang. He is Nate. Today we're doing top 5 superhero villains in honor of Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Or, as Eminem likes to say, Venom! No, 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 no.
Yeah.
But we're doing it for that. Because those, like, when you think of Venom, you think of, he's a supervillain. Even though he's kind of like an anti-hero now.
Yeah.
But Carnage is definitely a villain, so we're doing top 5 villains. He's going to tell you how the top 5s work and about our social media.
It's true. If you scroll down to the description box below, click it open, you'll find links to our social media accounts, our personal ones, and the channels. So please go give us a follow on there. We would love that. We also have a Patreon account and a Coffee account if you would like to help the channel out financially, which we very much so need and would really appreciate, so we can continue bringing you wonderful top 5s. Speaking of our top 5s, how they work is he's going to give his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. Then we trade off number 1s. We also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means if we both have the same movie on our list, but one person, or in this case, same villain on our list, but one person has it 2 spots or higher, we'll call it Zemeckis, and we won't talk about it till we get to it on theirs.
Again, I would like to say these are our personal favorites. And I'm still going back, and I guess I'm going to leave my list the way it is. I'm going back and forth on one character in particular because I love him so much, but he's not in the movie a lot. The Russian from The Punisher.
Oh.
I want him to be on my list so bad. One of the greatest fight scenes of all time. But I digress. My number 5 is going to be Magneto.
That's my number 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great. Magneto, one, he's overpowered as fuck, which is cool because I'm not a Wolverine guy. I think Wolverine peaked in the animated series, and then he just went down from there. Everyone loves Wolverine. Magneto's like, fuck you, Wolverine, flicks him, you know. He's a peon to Magneto. But just the complex relationship he has with Xavier, and then on top of that, he was in a concentration camp, so you understand the hate. And that character, there's so much depth and complexity and humanity, and also, like, you feel like...
He's easy to empathize with.
Yeah, empathy.
Yeah.
There's so much empathy within this character who's so powerful.
Yeah.
It just makes it so complex. The reason why he's my number 5, though, is because them X-Men movies are batting about 500.
Yeah.
But even like old Magneto, young Magneto, they're all great, and they all hold that complexity that I love about the character.
I agree with everything that you said. The reason he's my number 4 is he would have been my number 5, but there was one person that I really wanted on my list that I felt like I couldn't put above him.
And he's also a sharp-dressed man.
That is true. He's a sharp-dressed man.
Burgundy, great color.
I agree with everything that you said, and it's just like this classic story of it is overcompensation, but it's understandable overcompensation because of like what he went through. So, you know, being a Jew during the World War II era, he was targeted because of who he was, and then was subsequently even more targeted because he was also a mutant, right? So instead of moving back to normalcy, he just essentially adopted the same ideology as his abusers, and then just like tried to flip the script, right? So it's really tragic because he kind of becomes the thing that he hates so much, but his reasons for doing it are way different than what theirs were, at least initially. So super sympathetic villain. He has a real purpose for what he's doing other than I just want to cause chaos and be a general piece of shit. And I really like that a lot.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
My number 4 is going to be the Shredder from the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Listen.
No, I know you. It makes sense.
But, think about these Marvel villains in the MCU.
Okay.
A lot of them, they start off great and they fizzle out towards the end of the film. Or they just don't continue their story, which is like, you got so much stories, like Killmonger.
Mm-hmm.
He should be in 9 movies, but he's not. But Shredder, they build him up as this, like, godly figure in the Foot Clan, but you never see him, like, really fuck somebody up.
Right.
And then at the end, like, you built this character up, he's such a badass and everything, that for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, can't beat him. Which, when Splinter comes out and does beat him, not because he's better, but because of the anger and the complexity this character has, that he really beats himself. But it also puts Master Splinter on this level of, that dude's a fucking G.
Yeah.
So within building this character to be a badass, you're only building the Turtles to be better. You're building Master Splinter, putting him on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. So because of the Shredder in this movie, he raises everyone up with him.
That's actually a good point.
Like, he brings all the characters up to a better place at the end of the movie, and when you see him fucking take those fucking blades and throw them out the fucking dumpster at the end, you pop. Because this dude's such a badass, you're kind of a fan of him. Because he was built up to be so cool, and you're like, what else can this guy do? Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret Ooze, they kind of lose that mystique about him and everything, and they rush to ending. It is what it is. Vanilla Ice shows up. It's still it's a guilty pleasure movie. But in this one single solitary movie, great performance because of the mystique. And at the end of the movie, you feel like all the characters are cooler. You like them more. You either put them on a pedestal or something because of how good the Shredder is in this movie.
Nice.
So there's a logical reason too, because
I like it.
That's factual.
Yeah.
The most in-depth Shredder commentary from the 1990s Ninja Turtles movie on YouTube.
It might be.
Click subscribe, motherfucker.
It really might be. So my number 5, I wanted to go with a villain from this movie because I love it so much, and I do think it's the best Spider-Man movie. But it has
out of the 15 they got.
But it has so many villains in this one movie. So I went with the Prowler from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Mostly because a common theme that you're probably going to see on both of our lists, maybe except for one specific one, is and I think I speak for both of us, when it comes to villains, especially in general, but especially in comic book movies, we really like people who have a purpose and someone that you can at least understand why they're doing what they're doing, and they're not just, like I said before, a piece of shit. So this one is obviously Miles Morales' uncle, and like, it's Spider-Man, so he's going to have some sort of personal connection to almost all of his villains. But this one's family, right? But the way that they set up their relationship from the beginning of the movie, like, if you knew anything about Miles Morales already, you already knew his uncle was the Prowler. If you didn't know that, then you got a great surprise in the film. But it's just one of those tragic things. It's like, you know, finding out that his nephew is the one that he's being ordered to kill, knowing what's going to happen to him if he doesn't do it, and then choosing not to anyways. The relationship between him and Miles' dad, like the fact that he's just another victim of like a broken society who fell into the wrong crowd. And then you have this really interesting dynamic between brothers where one of them responded by saying, I want to try to fix this problem in a legitimate way, and another one saying, there's no hope for me to be successful, so I'm just going to be what everyone says I am in the first place, except I'm going to do it with a really badass suit, which is another reason that I chose him, because he's also easily the coolest fucking villain in this movie, because his suit and his powers are fucking dope.
And that was your 5 and 4. Your 4 is Magneto again. My number 3, I'm going to preface this first.
Okay.
I'm going to set the room so everyone gets the idea. When your name is on the movie poster, you're going to win that movie. Shang-Chi, guess who won at the end? Shang-Chi. Batman, 89, guess who wins that movie? Batman. Name a movie, they win. Unless it's Batman vs. Superman, then they both win. Either way, the superhero always wins at the end. And especially in the Marvel movies, I feel like they just put people on there just to get to the next movie.
Yeah.
But this villain had purpose, and he won. Mm-hmm. And it's Baron Zemo as my number 3. Because watching this movie, he won. Mm-hmm. He had a legit reason to dislike the Avengers. So you sympathize with him. And he didn't really do like anything like super fucking evil. He just turned them against each other.
Yeah, never even fights, really.
No.
It's just like, I'm going to make y'all fight each other. Fuck you.
I mean, minus the exchange with Black Panther at the end, like,
yeah.
That's it. So you get a bunch of really cool fight scenes, and he breaks up the Avengers. He had a goal. He set out. He reached a goal. And realistically, like these films are, we caught you and you're going to jail. I'm fine with that. I got what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end they got back together, but then Tony died, so they didn't really get back together. But I digress. He won. And to me, big fucking points.
Yeah, I feel you.
Huge points that I had to put him on the list. Smack in the middle. Because, again, he doesn't really do too much. He's a behind-the-scenes guy, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I can appreciate that, and I love that. But speaking about Batman 89, that's my number 2, the Joker from Batman 89.
Jack,
yeah, of course. No, my number 2 is Bob the Goon.
well,
Yeah, it's Jack
okay, but
Nicholson's
some people,
Joker.
like, there's a slim chance that someone watching might not know that was the one where Jack Nicholson played the Joker. So, worth prefacing.
Yeah, what a sidekick, Bob the Goon. But Jack Nicholson's the Joker. Jack Nicholson as an actor, to me, I think that's what sells this movie. I just like him and respect him so much as an actor that to see him step in this comic book world and nail like the best cartoony, serious Joker I think you could.
Mm-hmm.
Minus the animated series from the 90s. Like, perfect on-screen adaptation. Perfect to go against Michael Keaton, who was Mr. Bond before this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the balance of like good evil, the backstory and everything. He's a gangster. He's like Trick Daddy. I'm a thug. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just a cold-hearted, cool motherfucker.
Yeah.
That he didn't have to kill Bruce Wayne's parents, but he did. And as Jules Winfield said in Pulp Fiction, I thought it was some cold-ass shit to say before I popped a cap to somebody's ass. You want to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? And then how that plays in later in the film. And then Homeboy's like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Like, the reaction for Batman versus the Joker, I think is perfect. And it, for me personally, because I don't think Michael Keaton's brooding Bruce Wayne works super well. Like, it's above average, barely, you know? Like,
Yeah, I feel you.
passing grade is a 70. He's got a 70. So it really relies on the back of the Joker in this movie. And there's just so much fun, quotable lines from him in this movie as well. And Jack Nicholson, the face, nails it perfect to me.
Nice.
And I grew up with this movie. I burned through this VHS, like at least 3 VHS tapes. Like once a week, the fucking film like came out of it. Then you put your thumb in there and crank it back.
You're old.
My number 3 is going to be Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2.
Very good. If we were doing, not to cut you off because this is your part, if we was doing best, like, favorites out,
Yeah,
easy top 5.
I feel that. I feel like if we did a top 10, we would probably have like
For sure.
7 or 8 out of 10 in common.
Russian would be number 6.
Nice. That would be one we didn't have in common. But yeah, again, Spider-Man villain. He's going to have that personal connection to Peter Parker as well. But it's just again, it's another one of those things where the way that he became the way he is was just super fucking tragic. This guy's working super hard. He's trying to do things that are actually going to be beneficial to humanity. And what does he have to deal with? Fucking capitalism. And
It's the worst.
and it ruins him to the point to where he feels like he has no other choice but to go ahead and try to do his shit, and then it goes wrong. So his relationship with Peter, his relationship to Spider-Man, the fact that Aunt May gets involved, his relationship with his wife, and what happens to her, it just makes it just sucks. Like, you want so bad for this dude to be able to be redeemed, and like he toes that line towards the end, but what happens. So yeah,
with him being in Spider-Man
the new one,
3, I forget the name of it. You
No
think
Way Home.
you think that can bump him up in because this list 5 years from now we can redo it again?
Yeah, I think as far as what his role is going to be in No Way Home, it just depends because again, like Spider-Verse, we're going to have a lot of villains in that movie and probably multiple Spider-Men in that movie as well. So it just depends on how big his role is,
I kind of hope he does get redeemed in that movie.
Me too.
That'd be a nice little.
Yeah, because it's just there's so many questions with that. Like, when he's brought into this universe, is that the same? It probably won't be the same Doc Ock that we met in Spider-Man 2, it's just going to be like an alternate reality version of that same Doc Ock. So was that one as nice of a guy initially as the one that we met in Spider-Man 2? You know, there's just like...
Well, I feel like the ones we've seen in that trailer, Green Goblin, he's gone. You know what I'm saying? He's too far.
Oh,
but
like,
Doc Ock,
in terms of like redemption.
Yeah, redemption.
Yeah.
You can still do something with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, shit, even in the first Spider-Man movie, you know, Goblin's only remote... He was never even close to being redeemed. His only thing was, don't tell Harry. Like...
Yeah.
And
Godspeed,
but he wasn't interested in changing who he was. He just didn't want his son to know. So yeah, I think it's possible, but that's why he's my number 3. My number 2, I think it's the one where I have to re-preface that these again are favorites. Although I think that even outside of just being favorites, there's still a lot of justification to be made here. But it's Catwoman from Batman Returns. Dude, you had the fucking... You're going to put the Russian on your list.
I just watched this movie because I sent you a picture because to prove to you I bought the phone that was in Catwoman's apartment.
Yeah.
My uncle working on set, he hooked me up with it. But to me, from just watching that movie, I think of her in that film more as an anti-hero.
Really? I don't.
Personally.
I think that Burton 100% goes sympathetic villain route in that one.
Because, like, she only fights Batman when she has to. She's mainly trying to fuck with Matt Shrek.
Right, but that doesn't mean...
Who offers Poontang to the Penguin to be mayor.
That's true, using that word specifically. Yeah, but that doesn't make her not a villain. Like...
Well, that's why I go anti-hero. To me, but continue.
I feel like in that... Because obviously there's, like, so many different versions of Catwoman, from animated stuff to comic book things to TV shows to whatever.
We'll leave it to you, the fans. Tell us in the comment section.
I feel like Batman Returns, like Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, is definitely much more sympathetic villain than she is anti-hero. So, anyways, the reason that she's on my list is not only that, but A, total fucking badass. B, like, her backstory is super interesting to me in that she's just a hardworking woman who wants recognition from, like, the people she works for. But sexism. And that sucks, and that's really stupid. So watching her go from, like, essentially helpless to her situation to something absolutely tragic happening, but ultimately becomes incredibly empowering to her, to the point where, like, she is very cat-like. And I think that I love that about her, in that she, like, 100% is just, like, she likes to toy with her fucking prey, right? Because every time that her and Batman fight, she kind of wins. And it just, like, but then quits, because it's, like, that's not her game, right? She wants to fuck with him and, like, and toy with it. And I think that's really badass. Also, I'm pretty sure that seeing her for the first time, whenever I watched that movie for the first time, made me hit puberty early. And I have had a really, really weird thing for women who wear dark clothes and are a little bit more scary than I am for the rest of my life, and I think it's because of her. So that's the reason why she's so high on my list.
Young Nate sitting in front of the TV, crisscross applesauce. And he's like, hell here? But solid, but yeah. Tell us in the comment section. Anti-hero, hero. Leave it up to you. And you can be right. My number 1, I think I would hope we would have the same number 1. Dark Knight Joker.
Yeah.
Okay. There's not going to be a video you click on YouTube where someone's going to say something different about this character. So I'll just keep it short and sweet. I love superhero movies. I grew out of superhero movies and I started to love film. This is a film which also happens to have superheroes in it.
True.
And that Joker performance, wipe off the makeup, just as good.
Yeah.
Makeup on, maybe a little bit better, because it's like, you can do that with a comic book movie. Mm-hmm. And to me, where I'm at now in my love for film and cinema, I can watch this and not think of it as a comic book movie. because I get so wrapped up in the story and the characters.
Yeah.
Where when I watch something like Marvel, they have to go really, really deep and hard, no pun intended, to like get me so invested.
Catwoman.
To get me so invested where I'm like, oh shit, maybe blank superhero will lose.
Mm-hmm.
With this film, I'm thinking of it like a film. Like Heat. That's a good example.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to come out on top, but I love this dimension.
Yeah. Dynamic.
Stupid.
Yeah, so that's also my number one as well. Probably the only like non-sympathetic villain on my list, at least, where it's like there's not really a single redeeming quality about the person in general, because the motherfucker tells 3 different stories of how he ended up being the way that he was, and we don't know if any of them are true, and they're probably not, right? But yeah, it comes down to that performance. And so for me, I don't think there was ever a question of whether or not Batman was going to win, but I've seen how dark DC has been willing to let creators go with the Joker before. So like Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, Killing Joke, things like that. We've seen this guy, even though Batman pretty much always wins, sometimes the Joker gets away with some really fucked up shit before that happens. So to me, it wasn't so much whether or not I don't know who's going to win as much as it is like how much is he going to fuck up before we get to that point. Because, and there's so many, like, he blows up a fucking hospital. Granted, they got pretty much everyone out of the hospital. But, you know, he kills... I don't know. I've never, like, thought about what his body count in that movie is. But, like, even the scenes with the fairies.
I don't see him fuck anyone in that movie.
Whack.
So, like, the fairy scene's super important because it's the turning point, right? But it's like, it still would have been super believable that he got one, if not both of those boats to just blow up and kill however many fucking people, right? So he's terrifying because the movie really sells how capable he really is of just absolute destruction and corrupting people as well. So it's like he's smart and destructive, and that is a really terrible combination, and it is performed masterfully.
He kills 3.5 people. He kills Black Dynamite, the love interest, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, he hangs
Batman in hockey pads.
And
right. Figuratively, he kills Harvey Dent.
He kills half of Harvey Dent, so he gets a half
inside.
Yeah,
I give him full.
That's fair.
Yeah, what can you do? But tell us down below in the comment section. Sounds like there's super villains outside if the microphones pick that up. But tell us down below in the comment section what's your top 5 favorite super villains. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video. Please tell me the Russians on your list. Please. All right, scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.